where do you see Haute Afrika in the next 10 years? And where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Myself. You know, my dream is to dress Beyonce.
I was about to ask
You're watching this and you know Beyonce.
Link them. Hello, so today we are joined by the amazing, beautiful and super creative founder of Haute Afrika, an internationally award-winning fashion line. Gracia Bampile, how are you?
Oh my God, what an amazing introduction. Thank you for having me, I'm great, thank you.
So when we discuss Haute Afrika, we think, who is Bampile Gracia? Well, Gracia Bampile, because that is the founder, so who are you?
I'm a young Black woman, just on a mission to change African's narrative, more importantly, African fashion.
Okay.
The narrative behind what people believe about what African fashion is, or what fashion in Africa is in general. Okay,
cool. And what would you say your upbringing was like? What is your background?
My upbringing was very interesting. I like to say I did a small East African tour. Okay. I was born in Congo, moved to Uganda, moved to Rwanda, and then moved to Kenya.
And what did all of these environments, what impact did they have on your fashion line or your interest in fashion?
I think subconsciously, I don't look at fashion from one perspective. And you can see it in Haute. I will experiment with different fabrics, different countries. I'm not afraid to travel. I'm not afraid to experiment what's out of the box.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can't really say consciously what it had an impact, but I know subconsciously it does with my designs and how I see colors and how I see fabrics, African fabrics. Okay.
So one thing I also learned that made me realize how big of a success Haute Afrika has been is your garments have been in the likes of Forbes. They've been mentioned by BBC and also Vogue. So when you consider these accomplishments, when you thought of the day you began the initial steps into the conception of Haute Afrika, did you see yourself where you are today?
No ways.
Was this the goal?
This was the goal, but I didn't see myself here.
Okay.
Also, because I think Haute was not really, I didn't start a fashion brand because I wanted to actually do like something serious. It was more just for fun. Let me just make extra pocket money at school because I had bits. You know, if I can just buy extra shoes here and there, that's what the whole idea behind starting the business was. I never ever thought we would be in Vogue or BBC.
That is amazing. So this started off as, I almost want to say, as like you said, something a hobby.
Yes.
And now you have like an internationally acclaimed and like recognized fashion line.
Yes. In fact, I did a whole different degree at varsity.
Okay.
My whole aim was to finish my IR degree and go work for the UN.
Hi, boy.
That was the plan.
What a big like gap between fashion and international relations. That is huge.
No relationship whatsoever.
I was going to say, and even after, like, have you still done anything as far as that degree is concerned?
Yes, I did work for the United Nations.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. So as far as Haute Afrika strategy, what could you say maybe that you might have done differently that brought you or put the line, like your brand, where it is today?
I didn't come into the industry with I want to compete mindset. I came in, I want to create my own lane. And something about that kind of mindset makes you not even care what your neighbor is doing or what your competition is doing. Or I don't even see people's Instagram. I don't care. I believe in everyone has their own lane and everyone has their own path. So when you come in with I'm not trying to compete with anyone, your mindset is very different. Because I'm not looking at what you're wearing to see if I can find a way. I'm like, okay, so let me think, what can I create that hasn't been made before? That's what I think set the brand apart.
That is actually such an impactful piece of advice I think a lot of people should take into mind when building anything, which is not to focus on others, but to create your own lane and focus on your own path, because look where you are now today at the end of the day. So considering that, what challenges did you face?
Because I didn't go to fashion school, so I literally learned about fashion in I would say the glitz and glam.
Okay.
So I would learn about it as you were seeing it. That's how I learned about fashion. Well, as most people would go to fashion school, learn how to do this, then come out and present themselves. I presented myself before I even knew what I was doing. So that's a challenge because you're learning on the job. I would have preferred to learn at school and then come and perform. Obviously, financial challenges like any other business has. Just people challenges. Working with people, like any other business really. Actually, any other work environment, you have people problems.
I'm actually I'm in awe of the fact that you experienced a lot of challenges that a lot of people who are just like budding like designers like face. Financial challenges, working with people. However, you did not have the advantage of going to fashion school, and you literally made a name for yourself. There are still a lot of designers out there who didn't have that background, who are still struggling to get to where they need to get to as far as their brands are, and you've gotten yours to where it's recognized internationally. It's award-winning. It's
unbelievable, is what I would say. I wouldn't want to attribute anything to what I've done myself. Haute Afrika is obviously a team, and above all, there's God. There's no amount of beautiful clothes that you can make if there's no God involved.
No, I love that. I think that's also something that could really be an inspiration for someone looking into things. I know for me, myself personally, I didn't go to school for radio.
Ooh,
but I always wanted to be in radio. So being where I am today, hearing stories like yours make me think, geez, guys, if there's something you want, if you're passionate about something, go for it. Even if it starts off as a hobby, look where you are now today.
Thank you.
So congratulations also on those accomplishments. And speaking on those accomplishments, which one would you say, not even the accomplishments, throughout your journey, what would you say has been like your greatest highlight?
Ooh, that is a very tricky question. I can't pick one, but to make it fair, I'll just pick the most recent one.
Okay.
Which I got nominated amongst 15 other women across Africa as the women to watch out for in the next decade of African fashion.
Yes.
And I was just shocked because the women in that category are women I look up to. It's not even I was left speechless. As a young girl, that's what you would want. I actually cried. I did cry. I'm like, what?
Because that's a big deal.
It is.
So considering being one of the women to look out for the decade, how did that make you feel about your experience within your journey through fashion and women empowerment, or just being empowered as a woman?
Honestly, I'm still shocked. I think I still need to take it in. Then I'll know how I feel. I feel like I'm still is this real? Is this actually real? Is this true?
But it's incredible.
It is, and just taking time to actually sit down and actually just accept it is also another thing. I don't think because sometimes when you see your name in categories where you're like, do I deserve to be here?
Oh my word, imposter syndrome. And you're like, there's no ways that's me.
That's true.
But it's not. And you cannot think of it as imposter syndrome. You are a success.
Oh.
Yes, Aibo. Your clothing is being worn by celebrities, like the likes of Mpho, Mponyane, Mihlali Ndimase. Please, sis,
yes.
You are a success.
Thank you, love.
There's no need to feel as though you're not supposed to be where you are, because you put a lot of work into it. And just like you said, God, the mere fact that this started off as a hobby, and now look where you are now.
Yeah.
What advice, though, would you give a budding artist, a budding designer, though, who's
to be
trying
patient.
to start off? Oh, to be patient.
Not to have imposter syndrome as well.
Okay.
To accept the wins as they come, but to be patient.
Okay.
Everything takes patience.
As far as competition,
Yes.
how would you advise a budding designer to deal with that?
From my experience, what I've learned is I can't have what's yours, you can't have what's mine. It will never happen. So if you are coming into the industry, have your own lane. Let people come to you for your own things. That's what I would say. I don't believe in competition.
Okay.
You're competing with yourself.
Okay, that's true.
When I look at Haute Afrika's new collections, I don't look at, okay, what is so-and-so doing? I literally go back, I'm like, okay, what did I do? What could I have done better in this design? What worked in this design? What can I repeat but maybe change a little bit? And then also, what is just not being done? What is outside the box?
I was going to say, just like you said, staying in your own lane and not looking onto other people's lanes, wondering what they're doing, just to focus on yourself.
Because that way you'll always be a step behind them. If you're always looking at what someone's doing, you're always a step behind them.
Okay, yeah. Wow. That's actually such good advice just in life, actually. Like, not just as far as this discussion goes within fashion, just in life, that's actually a beautiful piece of advice.
Oh, thank you.
Social media. How would you advise?
Social media. Honestly, I just post. I tend to have just nice, cute captions.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I know much about social media. I just literally take a picture and I post. And that's how I guess Vogue found out.
Okay.
And then when Vogue finds out and they because they emailed me to feature me, then when they do that, then 10,000 followers. Exactly. But I didn't particularly I didn't do what no one else is doing with social media.
But you definitely did something. I don't know if it's definitely your clothing. You did something that caught the attention of Vogue and definitely got you all the exposure you needed and the exposure that you already had. If I haven't said it already, this jacket is Haute Afrika. Hello.
Yeah, I think it is the clothing and just the way it's presented.
And the authenticity, just like you being who you are. Your clothing is also, it's a part of, just like you said, your upbringing.
Yes.
How would you feel Haute Afrika represents fashion within the African continent?
I would say, for me, personally, before Haute, I don't think African fashion was, what's the word? I wouldn't say there was a retail market that gave you quality and at a good price.
That's true.
It was two things. It was either the things you're going to buy at a flea market, 100 rands, t-shirts or whatever, or it was the very high-end fashion.
Like you have to go and get someone to literally take your
to
measurements.
either make it for you, or even if you're buying it, it's like luxury now.
Yeah.
So there wasn't something that's in between. I feel like Haute came and gave you, okay, listen, I can give you a very good jacket at a very good quality, but at a reasonable price. So that's what I feel like Haute has done.
I love that. By the way, I've also looked through your clothing, like the things that I've seen, I'm in love. I'm obsessed. No, I really am obsessed. That's not even a joke. I actually am obsessed. I've always tried to find clothing that have an Afrocentric feel to them or represent Africa. Because at the end of the day, I do feel like a lot of the clothing brands that we do see these days that are available to people are they don't really incorporate where we are at the end of the day. Fashion is very global at the end of the day. But as far as everyday fashion, you don't really see a lot of clothing that really has aspects that recognize African culture, African fashion, or things that might promote Africa within the fashion industry. So having a brand like Haute Afrika definitely is a plus for the continent.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you.
Where do you see Haute Afrika in the next 10 years? And where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Myself. I see Haute definitely just pushing more internationally. I'm very grateful to Vogue, BBC, Forbes, Essence. I mean, the list goes really on. But I see us being more segmented internationally.
Okay.
Maybe doing more international fashion shows, dressing international celebrities as well.
Okay.
You know, my dream is to dress Beyonce.
I was about to ask
You're
you.
watching this and you know Beyonce.
Link them.
Yeah, so that's one of them. Yeah.
Aside from Beyonce, actually, just the minute you mentioned that, I wanted to ask you, who else would you like to style, or who else would you like to work with, maybe?
Beyonce, Kanye, Burna Boy, Davido. There's so many people.
Yo, when you said Kanye, I was like, when you said Davido, I was also like, no, I could see that, especially Beyonce. At the end of the day, Beyonce has definitely been someone who has taken notice into just certain elements of African fashion within her own styling.
Yeah.
So we love that.
Essay as well, Bonang. There's so many people. So many people.
It's gonna happen.
Amen.
Amen. It's gonna happen. Thank you so much for joining us here today. You've been amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.